Kids, it's story time again. Today we're going to read another Berenstain Bear book. We're going to talk about the joy of giving. I know we all like to get presents, but you know it's fun to give presents as well. So let's read our story and then we'll talk about it. The Berenstain Bears and the Joy of Giving, written by Jan and Mike Berenstain. It was the week before Christmas, and all over Bear Country, everyone was busy getting ready for the big day. They were Christmas shopping and Christmas decorating and Christmas everything. Down at the chapel in the woods, the cubs of Bear Country were busy getting ready for their Christmas Eve play. It was the story of the first Christmas, and brother and sister had an important role. They were to be the camel of the three wise bears. Sister was the front end of the camel, and brother brought up the rear. They thought it was the best costume ever. Mrs. Ursula, their Sunday school teacher, was directing. "All right, wise bear," she called. "Enter stage right." The three wise bears came on stage. They carried gifts and wore long robes, crowns, and fake beards. They followed the Christmas star made of foil-covered cardboard that hung above the stage. The first wise bear was played by Sammy Bruno, who had a loose front tooth that made him a little hard to understand. A thar," he cried. "I see a thar." Mrs. Ursula sighed. "Okay, Camel," she called. "You're on." Brother and sister followed the three wise bears, but it was hard to see out of the costume, and sister accidentally knocked over a palm tree. The three wise bears tripped, going down in a tangle. Oh dear," said Mrs. Ursula. "Will we ever be ready?" "Sorry, Mrs. Ursula," sister said, poking her head out. "It's hard to see in there." "I'll need to make your peepholes bigger," said Mrs. Ursula. "That's enough for today, cubs. It's time to go home." The cubs took off their costumes and went into the chilly evening air. "Brrr," shivered sister. "It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas." "Yeah," agreed brother, "and looking that way too." The whole neighborhood was decorated for Christmas. Sister and brother walked home in the soft glow of many colored lights. The next day, the Bear family went shopping. It was time for brothers and sister to pick out a few special gifts. This year they had 2 crisp $10 bills from Grizzly Gramps and Gran to spend on others. Of course, brother and sister hoped they would have some money left over for themselves. Sister was saving for a brand new Barbie doll, and brother wanted a special rubber band powered model airplane. Papa and Honey helped brother do his shopping while Mama went with sister. Brother picked out a Barbie doll outfit that he found on sale for sister, and sister bought a small airplane model for brother. Each just cost a few dollars. Mama and Papa thought that maybe each cub should have spent more money on one another. "What about the joy of giving?" whispered Mama to Papa. "It seems that brother and sister only care about the joy of getting." "True," agreed Papa, "but let's not interfere. They'll learn about the joy of giving for themselves." Over the next few days, excitement in Bear Country grew and grew. Brother and sister could hardly wait. They were going to be a camel and get lots of presents too. Play rehearsal went well. Sister could see better out of the bigger peepholes, and everyone knew their lines. But it was still a little hard to understand Sammy Bruno. When Christmas Eve finally arrived, practically everyone in Bear Country jammed the chapel in the woods to see the cubs perform. A hush fell as the curtain opened and the play began. First, the angel Gabriel came to Mary, telling her that she would give birth to Jesus. Then, Joseph and Mary journeyed to Bethlehem, where the innkeeper gave them shelter in a stable. There, Mary gave birth to a tiny baby who was laid in a manger. An angel of the Lord appeared to the shepherds, sharing the good news of Jesus' birth so that they could go and worship the newborn king. Finally, the three wise bears and their faithful camel trooped on stage. The foil-covered Christmas star hung high above the stable, sparkling in the spotlight. A star! A star! I see a star, Sammy said clearly. His loose tooth had come out backstage. The three wise bears kneeled before Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. The shepherds and the angel joined them. Everyone bowed low before the tender baby. The three wise bears opened their treasures and gave Jesus their precious gifts. The audience grew still. Then someone in the back began to softly sing, "Silent night, holy night. All is calm, all is bright." And the rest of the audience joined in near the end. Sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Peeking out of the camel costume, tears came to Sister and Brother's eyes. It seemed that they had never understood the joy of giving until that moment. All of the gifts of all the Christmases of all the years went back to those first gifts given to the tiny baby long ago. The Christmas play was over, and the audience cheered. Everyone felt the true spirit of Christmas had been with them that night. On Christmas morning, Brother and Sister led the family downstairs bright and early, but instead of heading to their own pile of presents, they went to their gifts for each other. "Merry Christmas," they said, holding out their presents. "From one end of the camel to the other," Brother said. "Thanks," laughed Sister. "You're a first-rate backup." Brother and Sister were delighted with their gifts and gave each other big bear hugs. Honey opened her presents, and Brother and Sister joined in. In the back of their minds, though, they were still thinking about the money they had left over from their shopping trip. Later that morning, the family went to the chapel in the woods for the Christmas Day service. A light snow covered the ground, and all of Bear Country glistened in the sun. On the way, Brother and Sister noticed a group of bears playing Christmas carols. They were collecting money for the needy in a big black pot. Brother and Sister looked at each other, dug in their pockets, and dropped all of their money into the pot. Mama and Papa smiled with pride. "You know what the good book says," Mama told them. "It is more blessed to give than receive." "We know," said Brother. "We received an awful lot, so it's time we gave some of it back." "Look," said Sister, feeling in her pocket. "I still have a quarter." Honey reached for it, and Sister put it in her hand. Then little Honey, holding on to Papa, toddled over to the big black pot and dropped the quarter in. The bears, playing music, paused. "Merry Christmas," they all said. "Merry Christmas," answered the bear family. Let's remember our verse for today that this book is based on. The verse, it is more blessed to give than receive. That's found in Acts chapter 20, verse 35. One more time. It is more blessed to give than receive. Acts 20, verse 35. So that's the end of our story. We saw how much happiness and joy Brother and Sister got from giving gifts to each other. And so we need to think about that. How do you feel when someone gives you a gift? You probably get excited, don't you? I know I do when somebody gives me a present. I like that. Well, think about how happy somebody is when you give them a gift. And doesn't that make you smile a little bit? When you give something to somebody and they get excited about it, or they get a big smile on their face, or they give you a hug and say, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Doesn't that make your heart just feel good? Well, that's the joy of giving. You've made somebody else happy by you sharing the things that you have with them. And you know, that's what giving really is. Think about it. When I give somebody something, I'm sharing part of what I have to give them the gift. I might give them the gift using my money, so I might share my money with them. I might give them a gift by giving them my time. I might agree to clean their house or rake their leaves or do something for them as a gift and say, "You know what? I'm going to do this for you as a gift." That's sharing your time. So giving is the same as sharing, and we do that because God wants us to share. But when we do give, we should do it with a happy heart, and we should do it with joy in our heart. And I promise you, when you give gifts, it makes you happy. Because when you see the smile on people's face, when you think about them, when you're saying, you're important to me and you're so important, I'm going to give you something because of that, makes them happy and makes you happy. All right, so here's another question. What's the greatest gift you ever had? What's the bestest gift you ever got? What made it special? Okay. Well, what do you think the greatest gift in the world is? The greatest gift anybody in the world has ever gotten. How many of y'all said Jesus? Well, if you did, that's right. Because Jesus is the greatest gift in the world. God gave us his son. Yeah, he did. He said, here's my son, and I'm going to send him as a baby, and I'm going to let him grow up, and I'm going to let him be on a cross, and I'm going to let him be put in a grave, and I'm going to let him come back to life to show you that you can be in heaven with me forever, and I love you that much. God loved us so much that he gave his only son so that we can have salvation and be with him in heaven forever. That is an awesome gift. Did it make you happy to get that gift? Yes, it makes me happy to get that gift. That's for sure. But God wants us to give too. He wants to share our time and our money and our talents with other people. Why? Brings us joy and brings joy to them too, right? So this week I want you to think about things that you can give as a gift to your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, friends, neighbors, all kinds of people you can give gifts to. Think about gifts that you would give to someone because you love them and you want them to smile with joy when they open that gift. Well, that's the end of our story today. We love you, we miss you, and we hope to see you soon. But until next time, bye-bye.